What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be answering the question, mouse and keyboard or controller? Seems like every time I hop on Twitter, especially as somebody who likes Call of Duty, it's always a debate, man. You always have mouse and keyboard players complaining about controller, and then you have controller players complaining about mouse and keyboard. So I want to give you guys my thoughts and everything about it and why the debate truly is just stupid. Now, obviously, as somebody who is a controller player, sure, I might have some bias, but as somebody who has tried keyboard and mouse, I'm mostly a console guy, and when I try keyboard and mouse, I could definitely see where controller aim assist is definitely frustrating because aim assist, just locks on the target and it kills you in seconds, but at the same time with mouse and keyboard, you can move a lot faster. Like, you kind of have an advantage in these FPS games with movement stuff. You could just flick the mouse and then bang, you just kill somebody, you know what I mean? And so the no aim assist definitely kind of balances it in a way, and it's the same thing for controller. The aim assist kind of balances it because have you guys ever tried to use controller with no aim assist? It is painful and torture. Like, for example, these PS2 games, when you play PS2 games with no, like, they have no aim assist, right? So when you try to aim these PS2 games with controller, it is miserable. The only reason why you should maybe be using no aim assist in a game like Call of Duty, for example, is for zombies, man. Sometimes when you're training, right, or you're trying to group up a horde of zombies, your aim assist kind of get locks on the zombies, kind of messes up your movement. So I could see where zombies players don't really care about aim assist, but as somebody who plays multiplayer and stuff, yeah, aim assist is definitely necessary because aiming in those types of video games are extremely hard. So I feel like there's enough balance for both sides, man. I don't know why both sides are complaining about each other so much. In my opinion, I just think it's pretty stupid, because again, there is balancing for both. And if you really do not like controller players, or if you really do not like mouse and keyboard players, then just turn off crossplay. Simple as that. In Call of Duty, you could turn off crossplay, believe it or not, if you just go in the settings, right, and turn it off. If you want to face strictly just console players, then you could definitely do that. And if you're on PC using mouse and keyboard, then you could do the same thing, man. You could just turn off crossplay and play against PC players. Sure, it might even take a little bit longer to find lobbies, but at least you won't be going against people that are quote unquote have advantage, And there's always also this debate, or there's like this topic, right, where people say, oh, Call of Duty was always made on controller, and that's just how it is, man. Like, I just don't understand why people will say that. Like, maybe, and I definitely do think that it is for sure made on controller, because I feel like console is the first thing that's in mind with making these Call of Duty games. Well, back in the day, I don't know about recently. Recently, I think it's kind of both, right? Because it seems like playing on console and PC, there really is no difference at all. Like, for example, back in the day, right? If you play a game like Black Ops 2 on console, you're stuck at like 65, I think, FOV. The graphics really ain't that good or anything like that. But now it seems like there really is no difference. You could turn up the FOV. You could basically have, I guess, somewhat the same settings. Yeah, PC will look better because, again, it is PC, has more hardware and stuff like that, more technical attributes, I guess you would say, than a PS5, but it's basically the same thing, you know what I mean? And so I just don't understand that argument either, where controller players are like, oh, well, COD's always made on, or, console, so you just gotta suffer. Like, bro, who really cares, you know what I mean? I feel like most of this mouse and keyboard and controller debate just really is stupid, in my opinion. At the end of the day, I think it's dumb, and I just think that for the most part, if you really just do not like mouse and keyboard, or if you just really do not like going against controller players, whatever, then just turn off crossplay. You don't have to go and play a different game, I don't know if the whole turn off crossplay thing is on Apex Legends or whatever, but even if it isn't, right, you could play, if you really are sick of the controller players, you could go play games like CSGO and Valorant. Have you ever tried to use controller on CSGO? I had, and it was terrible, so don't do it. And that's how I kind of learned how to play mouse and keyboards, with CSGO. And CSGO is actually a really tough game. If you're actually good at CSGO, I actually respect you, because that game is pretty tough. And same thing for Valorant. I never played Valorant, but it kind of looks like CSGO, so I'm guessing it's kind of like the same thing, right? But there is sometimes in CSGO where it's just the mechanics and stuff, it's just really cheesy and annoying, so that's that's pretty annoying. So at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if you use mouse and keyboard or if you use controller. If you really do not like one or the other, then just simply turn off crossplay. And I know you guys are probably thinking, well, Daniel, there are some people that play PC and use controller. Like, for example, Nick Mercs, right? Nick Mercs, I'm pretty sure he does that. Face Swag, you know, he has a SCUF controller that plays Warzone. And I guess that's fair. But also, there is some console players that use mouse and keyboard, believe it or not. And to those people, I'm at that point, like, why just don't get, like, why get that? You know, why have a PS5? You're just going to use mouse and keyboard. And it's the same thing as, like, why have a PC if you're just going to use controller? You know, in my opinion, if you play games on PC, for the most part, you should be using a mouse and keyboard. Now, I get it. Maybe, like, let's use me, for example. Since I enjoy playing the older Call of Duty games, right? I don't want to use mouse and keyboard on those games. So I plug in my controller. And I feel like that's the only reason why it's valid, I guess. But if you're playing like these modern games, right, bro, just play it on console, you know. But if you don't have a console, well, I don't get it, because if you don't have a console and if you still use controller, that just doesn't make any sense, right? Just learn mouse and keyboard. And it's the same thing, like, if you have a console, just play on controller, man. It's just better. And the console is meant for controller and the PC is meant for keyboard and mouse. So yeah, that's kind of like, I guess, my thought and everything. But at the end of the day, that's just kind of a stupid argument, because it's just whatever you want to use and you feel most comfortable with. But for the most part, I just don't see why, in my opinion, you would use keyboard and mouse on console. I think that's stupid. But I guess having controller on PC is fair. You know, that's what I do. I use controller on PC all the time. And the games I mostly play, though, there really isn't no people really online. And even then, man, I always get crapped on, I won't lie. Using, like, it just doesn't feel the same, you know, using controller on PC. Even when I used to play Warzone back in 2020, that used to not be the case. It didn't really feel the same as console, you know. I feel like the controller just doesn't really feel the same. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys today regarding the whole mouse and keyboard controller topic. I think it's mostly dumb at the end of the day. And again, if you just really do not like going against one another, then I don't know what to tell you. Play story games or something, you know? So yeah, it's been your boy Daniel. Make sure to drop like, subscribe if you're brand new. Follow all my socials. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.